Thousands of homes were destroyed by the deadliest series of wildfires California has ever seen. Tonight, we asked the feds, what are you going to do about the housing crisis? KPIX5's Emily Turner says FEMA admits it doesn't know.
These are the faces of those who have been displaced, who have lost something or everything in the fires.
I opened up my door. All of a sudden, I saw the wind blowing and embers and branches flying in flames. Essentially, we had just seconds to get out of the house.
There are thousands of them, and they came to this community meeting for answers. But where housing is concerned, there are few. So before the fire, Santa Rosa had vacancy rates that were incredibly low, 10%, if not worse. Now that the fires happen and all of these homes have been destroyed, how are you going to put them in temporary housing?
That's the biggest question we're trying to deal with right now.
The fires in Santa Rosa and Sonoma County destroyed 6,500 homes. There are still about 300 people in temporary shelters and thousands more displaced.
Short-term and long-term housing, this is the tightest market probably in the United States, and we know that. And so does the state and the county and the city.
But what FEMA doesn't know is how they'll handle it. Their first goal is to put people in hotels once rooms open up. Then they'll look for something more permanent. But to keep that many people close to home, they still don't have an answer. Though trailers, like those we saw during Katrina, are a possibility if local government signs off on it and there's even a suitable space. That sounds like a really long process. What's the timeline?
That's not going to be a short process.
It could take months or longer, he says. And the further away from home you're willing to go, likely the sooner you'll have a place to stay. But for people like Cesar Navarro, staying near home is important, no matter what his former home looks like now.
I actually passed up my house not knowing that that was my home. And I made a U-turn because my wife told me we passed up the house. And when I made the U-turn, I saw both my cars in the driveway. And I mean, they look totally different. They didn't even look the same. Everything was burned. The metal was melted completely. It was incredible.
Tomorrow, 3 communities that were heavily damaged in Santa Rosa, Orchard Park, Journey's End, and Coffee Park, will have controlled re-entry. Residents will be given protective gear to wear. They will be allowed to remove smaller items and valuables.